Well, here we are, and welcome to the Good Builder podcast. I am very excited for this podcast, actually, because me and this gentleman have been talking for a little while. I haven't actually got to meet him in person. And just off this 5 minutes that I had with him before the pod, he's fascinating. He's one of the founders of Increased Construction. They're tackling one of the biggest struggles in the industry right now, which is getting people, but it's also getting the right people and making your teams as efficient as possible. And this is really interesting what he does. He's got a little program around buildability that you might have heard floating around. We're going to get into more of that. But him and his team, Drew and his team, are working with builders all over Australia. They work with some of the biggest builders, some of the smallest builders. They can help anyone. And we are very happy to welcome the legend, Drew, to the podcast. How are you, mate?
Mate, thanks for having me on. It's been a while, like I said. The last 5 minutes is a lot of stuff you didn't even know we were doing. But I'm very happy to be here today because it's part of our brand and marketing to get more exposure because we're ready to tackle it more nationwide.
Mate, and thank you so much for choosing us, because I have checked a little bit about the platform, Increased Construction, have a look at what you do or as a service. It is very, very different to what's out there. But can you take us back to where did it all start? How did Drew come into the industry and start thinking about this stuff?
Yeah, it's a really good point. So we were doing some marketing and sales for some builders, and we were very good at what we were doing, but we were then breaking their model. So the more work that was coming in operationally, so from a recruitment or a procurement point of view, they couldn't keep up with that work. So we realized, I did have a recruitment background. I did that for a couple of years in London. I quickly went, I need to actually have a recruitment and procurement model here to match the marketing and operations side. So that's where we are today. We rebranded as Increased Construction from Critical Personnel, which we ran for the last 5 or 6 years in July. And we're able to then offer those solutions, that marketing, operations, sales, and technology, to builders with 5 staff or builders with 500 staff.
Wow. So basically the solution was formed because you guys were great at sales and marketing as well.
There was a problem and we needed to fix it, or otherwise we might have been out of a job.
Yeah, and you know what? It was so cool that you brought that up. I think sometimes there is some building brands that really need to watch that. We used to work with a couple of them. There's one, Stonewood Homes in New Zealand, and then we still a bit of work with them, Drew. Same sort of thing. And we weren't putting through massive amount of leads or anything, but it's just when that little bit of extra operational resource is required, or you need someone to get in on sales and things, it can tip a business, can't it?
Yeah.
When there's not enough resource there.
Yeah. And further in, we then had to work out how to describe that. And that was one of the things, because if you go to market and say, I can do all things for all people, no one is going to believe you. You know that yourself as a marketer, because you physically can't. So we then identified whether you're a contractor or a builder, it doesn't matter if you're in construction, you have one or all of 3 of these problems. You either need more work, you need more of the right work, or you need the trades, contractors, and permanent staff to do the work. And when we were able to delineate that, and when we're able to say that, everyone sits back and go, well, you're right. I'm either here in my journey, and we're going to talk about a builder later that started that part, or like you said, they're at the end of the journey where all the work's coming in, but the procurement and recruitment side is way out of whack. So once we were able to say, here's the 3 things, and you say where you are in that life cycle, then it's very easy to go, in that life cycle, now which lever do you want to pull? Is it the marketing, the operations, sales, or technology lever? Which one do you need to pull to get you to the next one,
Wow, mate, that is like, this is the first time we've actually talked in depth about what you do. When you just said that too, and you said, people sort of said that was logical, I was sitting here with the same thing. I was like, that is exactly what a business needs.
It's
the framework.
It's the framework. And it's not being sold a widget. It's understanding where you are in the life cycle of your business.
So you support that, Drew? Do you help businesses find out where that is?
That's our core product, is actually to sit with them, and our first month working with them going, where is the bottleneck? Where is the problem? And often they come and say, here's our problem. We need more work. I'm like, well, do you? Is it, have you got enough work, or have you got the right people doing the work? It's really understanding that first part and sitting with it. I've got a master's in business. I've got an MBA. So I have a passion about growing business. It's not about selling a widget. It's actually firstly understanding. And then, like I said, literally pulling the lever. Which lever do we need to pull? Because you come from a marketing background as well. There's 6, 7, 8 ways to bring work in, including word of mouth. If someone's really good at word of mouth, why would someone go and build them a $50,000 website if word of mouth is what they're doing, as an example? So it's really firstly understanding where they are in that life cycle, getting them to self-identify, and going, great, here's how we fix that, and here's how we move you to the next place.
That's phenomenal. That is so cool. You know, I did do some research. I didn't, get so deep into, I think you explain it really well, Drew. But like, I guess here at The Good Builder, we're trying to make good builders. Like we're trying to allow them to find out where their pain points are, find the solution, and then fill the solution with information that we give them. That's exactly what we're trying to do.
Yeah, it really is. I think at the end of the day, it's just understanding, helping people understand you're not the first person to have this problem. You just have to understand what the problem is. And I guess one of the things I really want the founder, the owner, the ops manager, whoever is engaging in growing the business and wants to make more money, they have to have a little bit of interest in understanding that part. And that's the key I want. They just have to have a little bit of interest. They can't hand that problem over to someone else and say, fix it for me. I want them to have a little bit of interest first, then someone else can fix it for them.
I love it. I love it. I just love it. I just think it is everything. I told you before I had my own marketing agency. Yep. You want more leads? Here's some leads. We'll do some Google ads, Facebook ads. Do you actually need more leads? Did we ever ask that question? Where are the kinks? In the business that could, like you said, could impact maybe the customer experience, for example. If you get more leads, which is where you may have looked at the business and gone, wait a minute, before you do that, you need this. Is that kind of a good example?
Great example. No, a great example.
Okay.
Even better, I would say you and I both know that a lead that calls up from the phone that goes to your website from a lead that has hit a Facebook or a Google ad needs to be treated differently.
Yeah.
So it's an education part going, we can make it rain leads, but if you have treated them the same way that someone has been a walk-in or a website drop-in to a paid traffic web, you're going to go, paid traffic doesn't work because you're not treating them how they should be treated coming from the internet. Wow. They need a little bit of extra TLC. We want them to all get in the same part of the funnel eventually. They just need to be treated with haste, speed. Internet's all about haste and speed. So we need to teach that business first. You can have more leads coming in, but you need to treat them appropriately.
You're phenomenal. This is cool. This is a freaking cool podcast. You understand the game really well, which is very cool.
Because I've been implementing it so long now for our clients, the difficulty we have faced until AI came along for us over the last couple of years was how do we scale? Or I either have to price myself so high that no one wants me, or I price myself so low that I can't make a difference. The sweet spot, and AI has helped us find that sweet spot in the middle, which is where our claim, and one of the things you'll see on our website is that we firmly believe that we can replace three full-time employees in less than the cost of one. That's our aim across those services. You're going to have all these problems, marketing, operations, sales, and technology. We can handle them to a certain level, but that means you don't have to put 3 full-time staff on. You could pay us a monthly fee and we'll get it done for you. Whatever you choose out of those or whatever you need out of those, we can execute on that. But AI had to come along to help us do that, or otherwise we would have had to have stayed a very small business, a micro business even, because my time and Sean's time is so delicate that
it's worth hundreds.
AI to have.
Yeah. Mate, this is really interesting for me, Drew. I didn't expect this from the conversation. Like, in a way, I think, we're going to talk about your service and stuff, but you're completely correct. And there's some lessons in here for builders in terms of your time and how you use your time and exactly what you said around, I can see you're a $500, $600 an hour type consultant, maybe $1,000. You know what I'm talking about? You're up high. So to provide a service that is so in depth for a business, you can only work with a few businesses. That's where you've been able to scale now. And is that how you've been able to get this thing ready so you can take on more clients because of the use of tech?
Yeah, well? It had to be the use of tech that came our way.
I get it.
Even as soon as I keep saying 2 years ago, 18 months ago, I was like, I just don't know how we could take more clients on. You get more, you take more on, you go, you get more efficient, you get more effective.
Yeah.
But then you're then teaching them what you've learned about the efficiencies and effectiveness. And as I walked in today, you were just finishing off chatting to a chat with an app that is taking notes. I'm massive on the note taking and then asking ChatGPT to summarize and asking it to email things out. I think that if we all understand a little bit of effort in that AI space, and we don't want you to be a tech nerd, I'm not that either, but just a little bit of effort in that space to become more efficient and effective, you can scale your building and construction business just as easy as we're talking now.
Yeah. Wow. There is so much in this, mate. There is so many lessons. We haven't even got through anything.
Correct.
All right. Let's get back into the questions because sorry, I went off on a tangent. You're a fascinating man. You are a fascinating dude.
I'm very passionate about what I do.
You've done a lot.
I'm a subject matter expert at this stuff now, so I feel I can speak as an expert. But I also want to tell people there are people out there that are amazing at SEO and amazing at building beautiful websites and amazing. I'm that one rung below. I am mile wide, inch deep, I understand every little part and know which levers to pull. And I'll never, ever, ever say an expert's not needed, because they are. Hopefully I get your business to a level where I have to say, you now have to go to an expert, because that's not me.
Yeah.
That's not me anymore.
Yeah. But most businesses don't need that right now.
Don't.
Particularly in construction.
I'm
with you on that. And I think, and I can see that just talking to you, because I'm a bit like you actually. And I see a bit of myself in you. I'm a mile wide, inch deep.
Yep.
I know a lot about a lot of stuff, but I don't go real deep on a lot of stuff. And, you get the subject matter experts in to talk about it. So, mate, this is really cool. Well, back into the questions, because we just sort of talked about your knowledge and what you do, and I think is fascinating. And as I said, I'm going to get you back on, man, to talk about that. But what are you seeing out there on the ground now in terms of real pressure on the delivery of homes and trade shortages thing? Are you seeing a lot of that out there now, Drew?
Yeah, I think that we all see it. It'd be ignorant to say that it doesn't exist, whether it's government projects soaking up a lot of people. We are now faced with, probably the last 10 years of a shortage of apprentices coming on, etc. So there's a real need at the moment to be more efficient and effective in the way you deliver, and also understand what you want to deliver. The people that have got work coming in that's not profitable, well, you need to change, and you need to look at what you're passionate about, and maybe get your founder story out there a bit more, so the work that you really want to do and that is profitable is coming in. So it'd be ignorant to say that there's not pressure on all of us out there at the moment.
Now, when builders, like finding reliable trades and finding teams, that probably one of the hardest things actually is that when we've been talking along builders along the way, is a lot of them ask us, like, how do you build teams? How do you make them reliable? How do you make them efficient? How do you do it? Like, do you see that constant struggle in builders when you're talking to them around
non-stop.
the traps?
Yep. I think in the past, and this goes back to the tech side of things as well, when we took more work on, we could just pull one lever. We could go and seek and find some people, and we could go to the Bunnings trade desk and ask around. We now have 5 or 6 platforms to find people, and a lot of the unused stuff is, people are still doing LinkedIn and Seek, but using data as a basis to understand if I need to procure trades and contractors or permanent staff, we're fishing from the same pond.
Yeah.
The site supervisor and the project manager and the estimator are in the same data set, the same way you can find them with social media as your tiler, roofer, electrician.
Yeah.
They all have the same kind of avatar online. So teaching builders, and we've been doing this nonstop in the insurance industry, is teaching them to go, all right, if you need a tiler in central Queensland, they're not going to be on they're not going to be on LinkedIn.
No.
And if you go to Google and type in Tyler Rockhampton, that person that comes up in the top 10 or the first page of Google and your procurement team's ringing them, they feel different because they are getting approached. They're getting called. They probably won't call you back because they're too busy. They're already on page 1 of Google. If we use data to put an ad out and say, we need a tiler in Rockhampton, and they ring in, they've self-identified that they're a tiler in Rockhampton and can handle the work. The game has changed. So teaching people there is other data. There are other levers you can pull with data to make you attractive to the right procurement and recruitment that you need. You have people come to you by using your smarts a bit more.
I love it. Mate, this is actually a phenomenal trades and supply, and getting the right person for a team is, I think, to your past name, and I don't mean to bring it up, is critical.
Yeah. We've got a saying, 90% of the work goes to 10% of the contractors. It's true. So we're either helping the larger businesses find the top 10%, or then I realized the bigger model for me was going out to the contractor market and go, if you want to be in the top 10% of the contractors in your region, here's a process to follow.
Yeah.
Here's what we do. Here's how we make you in the top 10%. If you want that more work, if you want to make more money, we delineated our service down to June, July this year going, we're just going to help people in the construction industry who want to make more money. So simple. All right.
Wow.
How do we do that? We get you in the top 10%. Or if you're a larger builder, we help you find that top 10%.
And speaking of the top 10%, someone I know works very closely with you. And he was one of our first guests on The Good Builder. One of the first guys we interviewed, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
From Watermark Constructions. They're actually one of the top 10 insurance builders in Australia.
Yes.
And if, now I didn't know much about the insurance industry. You seem to know a lot. But as I've done The Good Builder, I've had a few people on here. We're just about to have another insurance builder on. And just the pressure in that industry And all they keep saying to me are people are everything in that industry because you've got to get the job done. There's make safes. There's all those things you've got to do. So like for you guys to look after a monster like Watermark and look after that sort of help support that side of their business with people must be a testament to what you do, man.
Hugh and Watermark have a competitive advantage because we've been working with them for a couple of years.
Absolutely.
He come to me and said about the people side and the execution side because there's plenty of work out there for the insurers, but they're under constant pressure to deliver and either take more book on or lose book. So if you can actually help them understand that improve your contractors, improve your profit is what we lead in with the insurance builders, and they sit back and go, well, why didn't we think of that? I can tell you exactly what we've been doing with you. We have been improving his contractors so that he has a competitive advantage when he goes in business as usual to go into, say, Suncorp and talk about more work. He can deliver with confidence. If an event comes along, he can find those trades and services and contractors faster than his peers. And for his permanent recruitment, he has me on tap where I am always looking out for the right people for him because he's part of our network.
Wow.
So he understands that I don't need to help him with finding the right work or finding more work. It's finding the trades, staff, contractors, permanent staff to do the work. He's gone, I've self-identified I need that help. Great. Now, is it marketing, operations, sales, or technology? It's marketing and operations. Great. So you now have this problem. You have these two things off the shelf and I will deliver them for you on a monthly retainer.
It's amazing. And they are a crazy business. They do a lot of jobs. And that's where I was kind of alluding to like the criticalness of insurance jobs. Like they're much more critical in terms of a build than a normal detached residential home. You're doing make safes for people that have had their homes destroyed. You need to get trades in there on time because these people are living in homes that are damaged and threatened.
The other thing,
it's quite interesting what you do.
I think there's a question coming later, but I might answer it now. One of the things around what I see the really good builders doing is that Hugh is available to his staff and he still does all the interviews for the people that come on into the business.
Yeah, wow.
He still takes it on his shoulders. So one of the questions you had later was, what do I see in about good builders is that he still wants to know every single person that's coming into his business and take that on. Not that I think that others that are doing it differently are wrong, but I see that his retention's high because he's able to find the right people, be their first point of contact, and they have his mobile phone right from day dot. I feel there's a point of difference there as well.
Yeah, very cool. It's, mate, that's really amazing what you do. Like I said, I'm actually discovering as I go along, talking to you, digging deeper into how you actually do it. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating model, and I think it's very well thought. One of the other things that's very well thought is one of your sort of, I don't know if you'd call it this, Drew, might be wrong. Hopefully my marketing hasn't got me wrong, but one of your little taglines, which is around growing without chaos. What does that sort of actually mean? I think you've touched on it a bit because of that almost consulting piece that you do in the beginning to make sure to spot where the chaos is and how you help them. But
yeah.
What do you mean?
And there's a second part to your question, though, and I'm going to use a business as an example, but we all will get in a state of flux in a business at some point.
Yeah.
We all do. There's deadlines, there's things to get out. But if you let that whirlwind happen and don't take any action or don't say, I'm in the whirlwind, it's just going to keep going. So we have to look at what that chaos is. So once again, self-identify where we're at in the world, understand what levers to pull. An example we've got is we've got Sutton Building in Gympie, where you're in a Gympie market where it's regional, it's hard to find trades, etc. A founder that had getting to retirement age, and he was smart enough to go and contact me and go, I need help to change my business or otherwise I won't have a business. Got Sutton 3 years ago. We first looked at what do we need first? Well,
good builder, by the way.
Yeah, Scotty's great. We need an operations manager who's now the CEO. So we've got Lou in there. He drove the business. He wasn't a builder. He was a businessman. Right now we have a businessman running the building show, the builder out doing what he does best, getting more building work in. Lou, where are we at? We need more work. We're at stage 1. Great. Let's get the website up and let's make sure it reflects what you want it to do. We got that happening. Stage 2 was get the right work in. So they've got the more profitable work coming in because there was insurance work that was up in his region wasn't really as profitable as it needed. So he got some new builds in, he got some commercial jobs in. So now we see in that journey at Sutton Building, they're 3 years in, they're on that monthly retainer and Lou now just has me on, all right, I need a new project manager. I need a landscaper for the jobs at Phrygian. I need a tiler for work up in Harvey Bay. He just hands it over to me to get done. And he knows he doesn't have to have 3 full-time employees to do that.
Wow.
He's just got me on retainer to, I guess, implement his strategy. He knows where he's going with the business.
Yeah.
I put the right person in there. I don't know where he's going. I just then get handed the task going, I need help to implement. Under that vein of, we've helped him in the first 2 ones. He's now in that third one. He just needs help with the people side, the contractor side. And we deliver that with that sort of marketing and operations bias. Simple as that. So
Wow.
I use Gimpy as an example. Works in metro, works in
Yeah.
regional. It works in any state.
Absolutely.
Because the same thing is, it's about knowing the data. It's
Yeah.
about having the data of tilers, or what to look for with tilers, what to look for with roofers. It's a data game. In no way, shape or form, those 3 jobs that I just did for him that I talked about, did I pick up the phone and go to Google and search Tyler Bundy. He could have done that.
Yeah.
They tried that for a week. They tried that themselves. It's come to me and go, hey, we need a Tyler. We've done 2 or 3 calls. We can't find anyone. Can you do it for us? We execute on that.
Wow. That's so cool. And you can see that, recruitment is such a critical piece of the puzzle for anybody, any business. When I was at GJ Gardner, we had a specialist in recruitment that helped us with recruitment alone. It was that critical to us, mate.
Yeah, we feel we changed the game in recruitment. I understand everyone's got their different models. Everyone uses Seek. We use Seek. I'll change the job. I'm not bound by a job title. I'll move that job title around 3 or 4 times in a week just to see what's getting the right bites. I'll change the copy around. I'll put a video. I'll shoot a video face to camera and put the video on the job, see if that's going. But while I'm doing that, I'm using data as well. And every CV that comes in from Seek that's appropriate, I think that meets, goes into a spreadsheet. Therefore, I've got a lookalike audience for next time that I can send out over social media if I want. And I'm just continually building that data up. And that's why I can execute across the country in any contractor space.
Wow. Mate, this is, why are people recruiting any other way? They just don't know.
They just don't know. And you know what, maybe,
easy?
but it could be easy. See, in Sydney
That's what I
Metro,
mean.
Sydney Metro, Brisbane Metro could be a bit easier. So I'll get coming back to
But
Hugh.
are you getting the right person though?
Is
Is it easy?
This is a really good
That's
one.
where
I'll
I
tell you a
was at.
secret I do for Hugh and all my clients.
Yeah, go for
If
it.
I'm doing pure recruitment and charging as a recruiter, not on a monthly service fee, as a recruiter, and our fees are decent. They're not the highest in the country by far, probably the cheapest actually. But I Zoom them and record it and send to the CEO, the managing director, the ops manager, the CV and a video of me asking questions
Wow.
that are appropriate to that business. And I'm like, why aren't more people doing that? Because we're all time poor.
Yeah.
So if I'm the operations manager and getting flung CVs or getting a CV and a video from Increased Construction, I'm going to go, well, I'm going to use Increased Construction again and again and again until I can't execute. You know, I can't win every job, but if I'm providing a more optimized service, then I'm going to continually do that. And that's why I'm used more and more, because I'm able to scale that as well. The video part is really easily done because I've done it. I've been on Zoom constantly now for 8 years. I made a decision back to the building days where I was driving to the Gold Coast, Ipswich, here, meeting new clients for the builders. And I just went one day, people don't want you in their homes anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it all over Zoom.
Yep.
And life has changed immediately for me. I reckon I executed double my execution overnight because I could do more meetings, or if that person wasn't going to turn up to a meeting, at least I could be at home in the home office and I wasn't stuck. I think time, I've got young kids, 9 and 12, and she's nearly 13. I want more time with my kids.
Yeah.
So I'll execute digitally. By doing that, I can have clients in any state and have to watch the time difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get the sense of who they are. You're not going to get it's never different. Like meeting you over Zoom, for example, remember?
Yeah.
Meeting you in person, I'm probably more blown away with what you do and your intelligence, because we probably get digging a bit deeper than our Zoom meeting, but we could have done this pod over Zoom, for example.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That was an offer. The offer was to do over Zoom, but I was like, well, we live in the same place.
Might as well do it.
I like the backdrop too. So.
Yeah, thanks, mate. It's going to look cool. Yeah, you're a good looking man, so it's going to look good. Now, back to old Hugh. Now, I was scrolling through your website, Drew, and I saw his testimonial.
Yes.
I noticed it because he is a legend and I know him quite well. He talked about this buildability model. What is that thing?
I had to give it a name. If I've been smart enough to identify in those 3 silos that everyone has those pain points and the 4 levers, I felt I had to give it a name because I unashamedly do want to grow this business. I want it to be quite large. And so the word buildability for me covers everything, basically encompasses everything that you need to do to be successful and make more money. At the end of the day, I just want clients to make more money. They have to tell me how they want to do it and be able to tell them if that's realistic or not. So buildability is essentially a toolbox of us to actually go into and go, right, when you have this problem, here's your 3 solutions. Which solution do you want based on the cheapest, the dearest, all those kind of things. Buildability is a name of us executing on the company identifying what their problem is and actually moving them forward, moving the needle, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing you move the needle on, which I think is pretty cool, is you talk about not just, getting more and more resource. It's about getting the right resource and the efficient resource.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Like, how do you help teams become more efficient with their operations?
I think that because I'm talking to trades, contractors, and builders day in, day out, I can then just pinch the best. I unashamedly go, oh, geez, I haven't tried that. Maybe we should. So it's a way of me, because I'm constantly in that loop and that conversation piece, I can then with confidence say, I'm not going to name a business. I'm going to just name, hey, someone else is doing it this way. It's quicker. Once again, we talk about that inch wide, mile deep. I'm not getting in and recommending a certain CRM. I'm not recommending a certain way of doing things. What I'm saying is that you could have any of the 10 CRM platforms out there. I just think there's a more efficient way to do it. Or let's find a team member that has used that before. So your next hire, you're not having to teach them. They've used Prime. They've used something that's already there, saving you a lot of time and saving you a lot of money. In fact, it's then probably adding value to the business because that person brings experience in that software and that technology side to the business as well. So I think that's the way we do it is just constantly learning, evolving, trying things for ourselves and then implementing it into our clients. Simple as that.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, a lot of the workforce, like we've gone through COVID. Hey, Drew, there was a bit of working from home and all that sort of thing. What are you seeing in the workforce sort of mindset nowadays in terms of flexibility and culture and leadership and things like that?
Yeah. I love this question because I reckon you and I could divide a room asking this.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
really
yeah.
could. We'd have half the room say, no, we need to be in the office and it has to be done this way. And we'd have half the room going, you guys are crazy.
Yeah.
We're getting so much more efficient and effective with it. So let's acknowledge that at the start. I don't want to put anyone off. I have a flexible workforce. We all live on the Sunshine Coast, but we all work remotely and we choose to do that. We all have young kids. We all have we want to have a life outside work. So I'm pro it. But we treat it like an office. We turn up every day at 9 o'clock. We all turn up. We use Slack as our internal communication and nothing gets missed because we time and diary manage just like we're in the office. Now, appreciating not every builder can have that luxury and sometimes there potentially is the need for people to be admin staff, be in the office, management to be in the office, but you can still be flexible around that.
Yeah.
Start trying 1 day a week from home. Start trying half days. Start trying full-time in different pockets of the country that maybe skills are high, salaries cheaper. I think even at that small scale, it's achievable if you have the mindset that you as the business owner probably need to grow a little bit and try things different. But then you need to know there's someone or a service out there that can hold your hand and go, it's going to be okay. Here's how to do it. Because that's the part that I think people need to understand is that you just need to be able to learn from people that are doing it for themselves rather than try it and fail and then go back and it didn't work. You might as well go to someone that's doing it and go, all right, how do you guys do it? And here's our business model. We don't want to change it. And we're great. Don't change your business model, but let's get more efficient and effective with our staffing and be more flexible. So to end that answer, I'm passionate about being more flexible, but not ignorant to the fact that if you're a larger builder and an office space is probably needed, I'm not saying that's not the case.
Yeah.
But be flexible around that.
Yeah. Again, I agree. It was really tragic, but for example, I was driving down the Bruce yesterday. And that massive crash that happened was a 5-hour delay.
Yeah.
There's ways to be more efficient and things like that.
Yeah.
And one thing I loved about your answer, actually, which was not just about where you actually work from, what I sensed from you is you're a very process-driven, systems in place type guy. And you have that so people can work from home and can work in various places. And it's obviously how you run the construction business and how you're bringing people in.
I'm also the guy that tries to get around any system that's built to get things done faster, quicker.
Build faster processes to get around other processes. That's improvement, dude.
Unashamedly the sales guy, and I want to get from A to B as quick as possible.
Yeah.
But that whirlwind we talked about earlier, that can create a lot if there's not systems and processes to capture my things along the way. And I think AI, once again, is a massive help on that.
Yeah.
Because it allows me to engage in this conversation right now, but the note taker or running it through ChatGPT or asking it to summarize this for us later, if I'm in a business meeting and we're talking, I can be engaged and giving my 100% attention to the questions and answers rather than to try and take notes. Because the note taker will summarize it for me later and then give us all tasks to do. It's a game changer of such a small thing to employ in your day-to-day life to then actually go, well, this has saved me so much more time because I don't have to take notes and nothing was missed. Like note takers don't miss a thing.
No.
Takes your words and turns them into the action points and away you go.
Mate, that was cool. And that was actually a really cool segue into a question I wanted to ask of you. Now, you've worked with heaps of builders. You've worked with some of the best builders around. We've named Watermark there. Anyone that works in the insurance building game, I think he's crazy and awesome. But
side note really quickly, please don't forget your question.
Yeah.
How I come across a good builder is that you put out originally the top 10 and top 20 fastest growing, etc. And I went, I can't really say who I'm working with, but there's a lot of people on that. There's a lot on their list that are on their secret weapon. So yeah,
I do know that actually. Well, this is my question from that. So you've worked with some of the best out there. What do you think separates a few of them? Like, what do you see the way they do? Well, I think increased construction obviously helps. And sorry to cut you off, and I'm not just like plugging you, man, but like I really do like the value of people and getting your business foundations right and the right people in the right roles and working in the right way is just freaking critical. So I love what you do. Yeah. But anyway,
I've practiced this answer because I could have gone 10 different ways. And I think we've distilled it down to, I think it's the founder's story or the business story needs to be able to be told by every rung of the business. And then I think it does need to be that business leader. Doesn't need to be the owner, but they have to be accessible to the business. I think that's the two different things that I went to look at and going, what's the differentiation? And your answer, you might have think I've been going quality of build and this, because the quality of build, you might be doing fences, or you might be doing small renovations and changing locks. You might be building $1 million houses or multi-story, right? That's not the answer I want. I just think that the thing that's separating is that the founder or business story is able to be told from top to bottom, and that the founder or the person running the show is accessible to the majority of the people. So he can hear what's happening, so he can see what's happening. That's my answer on those. I think it's a little bit different. It's more of a people-oriented answer.
No, I love it. And I can see some of your stories through increased construction, just getting to know you on this podcast and knowing your history and what you've been through and why the business is this way and why you've made it so... I've never heard of this. Like, being honest, like just talk, as I said, I'm digging deeper as we go through this podcast and I'm discovering as much as all you out there, but like, I can see your story and your passion in the way the business has been executed.
Yeah, well, I had to sum up in that journey, I had to come up with those things. I had to be able to describe the pain points at the start. Is it need more work, the right work, or the trades, contractors and staff to do the work? That was a real pinnacle in being able to do that. Marketing, operations, sales and technology, we're not going to lie, we came up with that 7 years ago, but couldn't find a home for it because the acronym's MOST. How do you get more out of most out of your business? But it didn't, the open market didn't go, what's most? Now we can actually say,
that's so cool.
Yeah, it is. It really is. So there's that. Then understanding, coming up with 90% of the work goes to 10% of the contractors, right? That was a big moment for us going, all right, that's a real strong marketing point. And it's a truism. We go across the industry, everyone goes, that's actually about right. Because let's face it, if we could just win all this work and just get one contractor to do all our work at the right price at the right time, why we wouldn't use anyone else? It's not possible, but we have to, if we acknowledge that, a lot of our work is going to go to those 10%.
Yeah.
All right, well, how do we make them better? This is simple. Well, Drew's helping us. Drew helps them, circle goes around. And then lastly is that pricing point for us is going out and saying, hey, we're able to replace 3 full-time employees, then less than the cost of one by doing it on the monthly model. That for me was then like, right now I have something I can scale because I've been scaling everyone else's business, but it's time for us to scale. I had to have all those ducks in a row. And that last one for me was going, well, what are we offering here? Because our services are for everyone. All right. So we have a monthly fee or the recruitment fee for really small guys. It might be too high. That's okay. We've created some videos for them. So we've got some videos that they can watch. The really big guys that want a lot more of my time, I have to now say, I can't give you all my time because I want to scale. I do want to scale this.
Absolutely.
They appreciate that. They go, well, you've got us this far. We'll scale down our need for you and we'll take it in more bite-sized pieces. And then going in and consulting and almost steering the ship for them. I've just gone, hey, I just need a bit of time back because your ship's on the right direction. I'm just going to get it back working.
Yeah, good on you. And that's what I was saying in the pod, like to steer a ship. And I can see you can do it. Like, mate, I would have loved to work with you in a construction business. Actually, just like when you were talking, I was like, oh, he would have been cool in these sort of ventures I had done in the past. But anyway, it's, that is hard to do and it takes a lot of time. I love that you've, scaling it back, you set them on their path and then you're still there to support them and they can keep going and then you can go and help set up some other builder or someone like that.
That's there's more to go around, and that's what I want to do. I actually want to grow it and scale it. And the idea is actually we don't need 100 staff to do it. We will need more staff, but it's then those people have to have a little bit of that, same as we talked about before, that mile wide, inch deep bias.
Yeah.
And they're out there. They are actually at builders. They are females that have been running the admin office for builders, and they hit a glass ceiling.
Yeah.
Great. There's a work from home option for you that
That's
we can
cool.
facilitate. There are guys that are doing the ops job and they want to be home with their family a little bit more and they don't want the pressures of it. Great. There'll be a job for you. I've got to actually just create the job specification, so to speak, but they're the people that we'll be looking for to actually come in and go, right, your job is just to listen.
Yeah.
My job is to teach you when they describe what their problem is, how to fix it, and the toolbox. Basically, dive into the toolbox, get it fixed. Next month, what's their next problem? Because you increase their leads coming in. Yeah, you're going to break their operations. Yeah, right? You're going to break the sales team. Something's going to break. It's understanding that. Help them identify what's broken. Yeah, through asking the right questions, then get about fixing it.
Love it. I love the model. I love the business. I think it's almost like this is not your words, but you're guaranteed to win. Not your words, my words. But if I had a building business, you're guaranteed to win if you had some support like that and them looking after the resource
at the end of the day,
and looking at your business.
Make more money, isn't it? Really, we're in it to make money. That's what we're doing. Winning, making more money, growing, profiting.
In a safe way.
In a safer way. And in a way where you can scale it and go, hopefully I do such a good job that 3, 5, 6, 12 months time, you go, we've got this. Yeah. And you can put a full-time employee in and I've set you on your path away you go. I'm not there to gatekeep you and hold you forever. My job is to do a job, get it done, but do it at scale where I'm delivering for you and myself.
I love it, mate. Now, looking ahead for you guys at Increased Construction, I'm really sad that we're nearly getting to the last couple of questions. But anyway, looking ahead for you guys, what's happening over the next 12 months there? Got anything coming up? You want to get more builders on board? Well,
we do want to get more builders on board. That's why we're on the show, clearly. There's two things at play there. I think that for us is just growing at a scale that we can handle. We understand exactly where we want to be. Unashamedly, the model is built to go to New Zealand and then the US. It's basically getting it right in the Australian market first. New Zealand's already underway. It's the same market, but we think we can then take that to the US and run it over there. It may become a different model over there where we're teaching maybe the marketing teams how to communicate to the builders. Yeah. That's probably the more likely step for the US as we execute on the builders in Australia. So we have been thinking about where that model goes, but right now it's expanding it nationwide. We're really big in Queensland, New South Wales. It's time to take it to a few more states and go from there.
Yeah, cool. Well, I would happily introduce you to a few builders after this pod, mate. I'm going to introduce you to a few big guys out there that I reckon you could help. And also Stonewood Group in New Zealand, the builder in New Zealand who have just come out over here.
Yes, got you. Okay, makes
Very
sense.
big on recruitment, and I'd worked with them for a few years, not in recruitment, but in some marketing space. But I don't think we ever got that right. I don't think we ever got the recruitment and all that. Even just franchising is an interesting one, actually, thinking about it, because each local business is slightly different.
They are a little bit different.
So when you're working from a corporate perspective, I won't lie, I worked at GJ's. Sometimes you do a fairly, not generic approach, but it's for the brand.
Yeah.
But we're not looking at that local level. So I could see like someone like Increased Construction plug into it. We've had James Stroud on here, Stroud Homes, GJ's, Stonewood Homes, and just kind of help some of their franchisees in what they need in their business at that particular time. Because as I said, typically as a corporate franchisor, you're giving a blanket approach. And
and the good thing about those larger ones is they actually have all the data in front of them. Someone just needs to tell them. There might be someone pointing it, hey, here, here, and here, put those together. I'm really big that one of the things I'm really passionate about is that the business marketing spend can be used for recruitment and procurement and not lower the actual end result of the new business coming in. So hiving some of that off and think of marketing for recruitment and procurement, because you're still getting your brand out across the market in the same way that your brand would be getting out into the market there. So I have a few tricks around that. And that's what I think most people don't understand is that slice some of that off, slice some of your marketing off and use it for recruitment and procurement. I'm obviously giving out the recipe. I'm not giving out the method.
Don't do it, because
I'm not giving
out my eyes, oh, this is good.
Giving out the method.
We could do an art. Bottleneck will be owned by you because you bring this idea. But in my head, I was like, because if you are advertising for recruitment, shows you're growing. There's trust.
You've nailed it.
Anyway, all right.
Yeah, yes. There's a wider reach than just what you thought your target market was.
Yep. Anyway, if anyone wants more info, they should talk to this bloke. Do not just pull that bit of the pot, like talk to Drew how you do it. I have one last question, but before we get into that question, how we get in touch with you, Drew? And we're going to put all the links down the bottom and everything.
Increased construction is really easy to find online. We'll just have a contact form on there. We'll make sure, because this is going to go live, we'll make sure that contact form's really probably referencing this and make it easy to get to.
Yeah.
Because it's smart marketing. Just really simple. I am on LinkedIn. I'm not the biggest LinkedIn user, but it might look like I'm the biggest LinkedIn user, but my staff will be tagging doing that for me. And surprisingly, I don't have to do a lot of social media other than I do a lot of Facebook ads. So it looks like I'm doing lots of social media because my ads are going out, but it's not Drew doing so much in piece to camera work, which I do.
Yeah.
Because most of my piece to camera work is done once I've won the job for the client, doing it on the Seek ad or the Facebook ad for them. So either running their Meta account or teaching them how to run the Meta account. So I'm on camera all day, but not as much as that. So I think the website and LinkedIn's easy to get to.
Cool.
And we really just want people to either, we'll probably send them a little bit of segment on this or a little bit of webinar we've done going, look, find out a little bit about us first before you jump online.
Yeah.
So that when they jump online, they're kind of warmed up a little bit to go, all right, we're at this problem here. I don't need them to get online and then sort of find out. I'd rather them say, all right, yeah, we actually have that problem. We've got all three, or we're at stage 2, and some have all 3. They all do. So that's the process we follow with all the links in there. So we'll just make the website real easy to navigate after being on here.
Love it. And we'll pump everything out there. And guys, 30,000 of them out there. Honestly, please, just some of them, please talk to Drew. I think it's going to change your business like you don't understand. I've done things in businesses, and this is the missing piece. Like, thinking back on things that I'd done, the kinks in the business, not identifying the problems in the business and then resourcing that properly. That was a lot of the reason for failures in business, and also, not performing at their best. So I am super passionate about what you do, Drew, and I love it, mate. And it's innovative. Last question, man. We're called The Good Builder. What do you think makes a good builder?
Passion in the end product. So earlier we talked about the human side. Literally only come up with that in the car when I was talking to Sean here. It's passion in the end product.
Yeah,
that's what I think makes a good builder. Because once again, we're talking about builders could be doing small, medium, large jobs. It's the passion in the end job. That's what I think it is. Yeah.
It is.
Simple as that.
Yep. And if you have passion, you do these things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're passionate about your business, you care about it, you look at it from a different lens than if you think it's just a mere quick money-making scheme that you're going to try and stay alive and not go broke in the meantime. You've got to look at it seriously. So, mate, I absolutely love what you do. It might have been a bit of surprising, that pod, to you. I did research it, but the stuff that you do is deeper than I think the mind has ever thought about in terms of the stuff that you do. Drew, you do it very differently.
Yeah, it's just, I have been gatekeeping a lot of the information because I've been the secret weapon for a lot of people, but it's time to actually let that out a little bit.
I reckon.
And being able to articulate it has taken a long time. So I don't shy away from that. So while I was great at doing the work, I was my own worst enemy at articulating that. And I think we've got it to a point now where it's articulated, ready to grow.
Well, you articulated it very well, and that's why I understood it, and it is amazing. So, mate, we'll put all the links in the below. Please, anyone who's looking for a solution like that, jump out and get in touch with Drew and Increase Constructions. We'll be posting everywhere, so you're not going to miss a link, but it's going to be phenomenal for anyone that has a crack and works with you, mate. I think it's going to be game-changing, and anyone that does and gets in touch with you and starts working with you, how about we throw out some free pods for anyone that goes and does some consulting work or whatever with Increased Construction? Your first 3 builders that come from this podcast, send them back our way, and we'll do a podcast about their experience.
I like that, about the changing in the game. I like that. Sounds good. Thank you.
You're a legend.
Thank you very much.
That was cool.